I want us to kick off by talking about Judith's letter, the Minister of Information and National Guidance, warning Ugandans against traveling for Christmas festivities.
First of all, I went through the paper, the letter, 4 pages, but what caught me, I love numbers, so I look at numbers, and I asked myself, okay, so COVID, is a really a threatening disease? Yes, we have it at home, but from the figures of that paper, she highlighted that we have 220 people who have lost lives. COVID, and we have at least we have around 27,000 people who have caught the disease. So it means the majority have survived the disease. Then I asked myself, if we just asked ourselves a stupid question, that how many people died giving birth, in 8 months, the same time frame COVID has been in Uganda, you see that actually you should, then they would have told Ugandans not to give birth if that was the case. If these two diseases were put head to head, these are killer diseases, like these causes of death, if we put them head to head, the labor and the COVID, right? That is one thing that came to my mind. And then I also wanted to know which other diseases that kill Ugandans. And I found out that we have diseases like malaria, they are still killing Ugandans. How comes we are not addressing them? So the first question that will come to any sober-minded person or persons is to ask what is the spirit of this letter. So I pose it to you, you as a journalist, as someone asking me, tell me what was the spirit of the letter?
But I feel like she was just trying to protect people.
To protect people, how? Like how? Like because you're giving a wrong example with the setting of Uganda, first of all. So I don't think that will work in Ugandan setting. But let us stay in Uganda. Ugandan government previously, when the pandemic came, it is suggested some of the things that should be done to prevent the spread of virus. But the Minister of Health was the first person, a public figure, to break these same rules that were put. I don't think it is the same case you are. Is it the same case? Then we should ask ourselves that question. So the two things don't really correlate. Like they are totally different.
I guess they're two different countries, but my point was, we have seen many countries trying to do the same thing, that people should not travel a lot, because this is how, when people come together, that's how the virus is being spread.
Yes, then I'll ask you.
And you don't know who has the virus.
Okay, I'll ask you the question. I called it a stupid question deliberately. That if you have two diseases, the mothers that die every day in Uganda, there are 19 women that
But this is a
life.
global pandemic.
Yes, it is a global pandemic, and Uganda should not be exonerated. But how many governments that went to parliament to get money, and that money maybe to buy basic stuff like masks, they were swindled by people in government. That is the case in Uganda. You get. So 50 plus billion Uganda shillings lost somewhere, and Uganda government has corridors that money get lost. You get. So and then the other minister, health minister, breaks her own rules. Now Minister of Information comes to give the same information. Won't her break the same rules? I swear, if we had very nice cameras, we'll put it to her home. You will see that she'll be the first person to go to village to see her parents if they are there.
Drinking water, pretty.
Yes, so literally, this is the government that people are going to defy, and telling people to stay where they are. It does not really help, because just during festive seasons, people have been defying these rules, and Uganda is not a country that has order. After all, it is rot from head to top. You know, it is a fish, rots from the head. You get what I mean? Get. I think it is the same country where presidents say that organizing an election during a pandemic, you'll be stupid, and then later he meets the Electoral Commission, and the election goes on. It's going on. You understand? So that is the same country.
So people should be allowed to travel. That's what you're saying.
No, they should not be allowed. Actually.
No, they should be.
No,
if they were allowed to vote, if elections will be held on
exactly.
14th January.
Exactly.
So they
exactly.
should be allowed to
So
travel.
the letter is a bit double standards. That the people don't really live where they are voting from, and we are less than a month to the polls. So these same people have to travel. So is it another kind of a curfew? You understand? Because a few weeks ago, there are some parts of Uganda that where curfew was there for 20 plus hours when one and only Honorable Chagwany was traveling to those places. Is it the same way to say that, okay, because look, the spirit, now I'll be just critical or stupid. And I ask, what if the government, through the information minister, is trying to prevent people from city centers to go and spread the gospel of change in villages? That is what I can ask that, and someone else can ask that. What if it is the that's why I ask the spirit of the letter. I think I'm making sense to you now. What if it is like we should ask those nitty-gritties? Because you see, 220 out of 27,000, 27,000 is the people that caught. This is really, let me just try to get some math. This is not even 10%, not even 5%. So it should be alarming as it is portrayed by the government. And I don't want to be tempted to think that the government and the ministers, they really care about the citizens, because they fail to give them masks, or when the donations got into their hands to give people, the poor people in these city centers, food. The food never got there up to today. Those who got, they got the one that had like stones, beans that were mixed with the stones, things like that. So how can I be tempted that now, all of a sudden, the government is changing to care about these people? I think this is the same government and the same minister has been there. I don't know whether it only talks about things like this. But when the Ugandans were shot, how many people died in 2 days when they were getting shot? A few days ago when they arrested Honorable Chagwany. Very many died, right? Actually, almost 200 people may have left. Those who died and those who got permanent damages, they may be 200 just in 2 days, right? What did her ministry write on that day? It is a question, and it should come to you people who are watching us. What was the reaction of the same ministry? These are critical questions that we need to ask ourselves, not just to say, okay, the minister has said this. The spirit, now I was just talking about the spirit of this letter. If you're convinced that the spirit is okay follow the guidelines. But anyway, follow the guidelines, not because the minister has written. You should just know that, okay, there is a pandemic that is going on, but we know the incubation period of this disease. We've had friends who have gotten the disease and they healed. So long as your immune system is good, you shouldn't be scared from the disease. It heals. It's not like other diseases, and I think now the government of Uganda is utilizing this time to do something fishy. I think the latter is planning something fishy, in my own view, but I may be wrong. I don't intend to be like I know everything.
Okay, in the spirit of let us talk about the Electoral Commission's letter or summon to Bobi Wine.
Okay, now when I read the Electoral Commission's letter, a few things came to my mind, a few questions. You know, I always debate with myself first. So I asked myself, the Electoral Commission is writing now to Bobi Wine. They knew that the guy had a program that could take him days to come back to Electoral Commission, right? They knew because he gives them, he represents the program that, okay, this is my timetable, my electoral road. This is where I'm going. I'll be here on this time, these days, right? They summoned him. That the letter says that he's continuing to not respect the SOPs. True, right? But we should ask ourselves, one of the things I asked myself, is this just a summon, invitation, or an order? Were they ordered to do this? Because also, if I've not forgotten, I remember a few weeks ago, Honorable Chakulani, Robert Sentam, he was the one running to them for protection. Protect me from the police and the army. That was his request, right? We ended up seeing him putting on a bulletproof, right? That speaks volume. And then Isi could not help. So the same thing I'll ask, what is the spirit? And I'll leave that to those who are watching us. What is the spirit of this letter?
But don't you think Bobi Wine is giving excuses like he cannot control the crowd when he's doing his campaigns?
I think they're not just excuses. For example, since the pandemic happened, the world has had not less than 40 elections, national elections, including the United States, Ghana, and others. Poland had called hers off. They found ways of holding that one, right? And people are campaigning. How did they campaign during the pandemic? USA has lost more than 20 times or 50 times than Uganda, right? So another question we should ask, before the pandemic, the Ugandan constitution allows people to go and consult. There is a consultation stage, like almost 1 year to 6 months before the elections, if I'm correct. Honorable Chakulani tried to go somewhere in an open field to consult. They said, no, you should not be in an open field. He got a hotel to consult into another district. That was Lila. They also refused him. So the question is, even then, was it SOP or he was also giving excuses? Okay, my point is simple. I do not think that Honorable Robert Chakulani is giving excuses, in my view. Do you know why? They refused, and more than 2 years ago, he's not been working, you understand? And we all know that the guy is a musician, he's been performing. So it is obvious that people will yearn to come and see him.
So the popularity is the problem. His popularity is the problem.
No, that one also is not a problem. But the government is making it a problem, in my own view.
But he's attracting a lot of people to these campaigns.
Like, where should you campaign and you don't want people to come to listen to what you're saying? Like, where in the world? So it should attract crowds.
No, when he does that, then he breaks the SOPs. Because
SOPs. Later in this video,
a lot of people will be gathered in the same place.
Exactly. If these people had masks, if the government taught them how to social distance, we have police, we have army. They can order these people without shooting at them. But we have a government that prevents people from getting COVID-19 that can heal in 2 weeks, and they just choose to shoot at them.
Why is it?
Because the government now, we have a government that prevent you from dying COVID-19 or getting caught by COVID-19.
Why
and
isn't
shoot
he
at you.
using scientific campaigns? Why isn't he using that route?
Scientific, like where? Just an example, when he was in northern Uganda, EC gave him a letter, I don't know through which means, but not in person, but at least it got to him. When it got to him, he responded through a letter using his party leaders and sent them to EC. When he sent them to EC, the EC told them, no, we don't want you, we want him. Were they being scientific? That is for example. Another question I'll ask.
But he's the candidate.
Yes, he's the candidate. Yes, it is true. But he sent people because when you go to his the voting day, is a flag bearer of a party. That party has leadership, right? He has deputies, he has secretary general. All those people, when they come to you to say, okay, you can see, because even EC is not in Uganda, is not abroad, right? Is not from Mars. They see what is going on. After all, they are the one who approve his timetable. You get? So they know that he's in this place, and they know, of course, they are Ugandans. They know how long it is from where he is to EC. They say, no, for us we cannot move, but you move. Right? So scientific, he will be scientific if and only if let them allow him to access radio stations or TV stations, but he does not access them, right? You understand? So how and then they want him to be scientific, but then he used social media. When he used social media, the other time in the previous meeting, the EC chairman said his DSTV was cut off, and he has no social media platforms, as if EC cannot open up these social media handles, and they hire people just to see what is going on in every camp, because we are in a scientific campaign. But someone is preaching wine and they are taking water, or vice versa. So here, I think they're not being lenient on him.
So do you think the Electoral Commission was wrong to reject the representative that came to represent Bobi Wine?
Actually, when I read that, I had to rush to my bedroom, and I had to kneel down and I pray for this country called Uganda. Do you know why? We have a disease of personalizing institutions. It may look like a small thing, but this is how it started. When you think of NRM, the only person you see is Yoweri Habura Museveni. Now they want also to make NUP that without Chagulanyi, we cannot do anything. That is being unfair. And that does not give us institutions that we do want to have in a country called Uganda. That is in my own view. That is a disease that is personalizing institutions, because Kyagulanyi is going to go out of NUP. So we want NUP, want political parties that can exist without the current leadership, and the political parties can continue. But here was a message of NUP, of EC, telling NUP that we don't know you as NUP, we only know Kyagulanyi. That is wrong. You see that even the good leaders whom we are getting, they are forced to personalize the institutions. You get, Kyagulanyi says, no, through my aides, through my agents, through party leadership, please accept this letter. This is my response. Electoral Commission could meet those ones, right? And tell them, we want Kyagulanyi to do this and this and this. Actually, not Kyagulanyi, your party candidate to do this and this and this and this. Right? Are you getting my point? That this one, every sane Uganda should be really mad at that action in itself. This is personalizing institutions, and NUP is an institution.
Is the Electoral Commission fulfilling their end of the bargain in terms of what they're supposed to do during this electoral period? Or do you think someone else is running their show?
Actually, to really answer that question, you're going to help me to get the answer here yourself by what I'm going to say now. And even you are watching us, ask yourself, how does the Electoral Commission come to become an Electoral Commission in Uganda? Who appoints its leaders? The current Electoral Commission, before we got into elections, do you know that it was changed? And what reason why those people were fired or resigned?
But as an independent body, do you think it's acting independently?
I think the independence is just not part of naming. The same way I'm called my Christian name that came from somewhere does not make me a white person just because it is from a saint who is named as a white person. So that is just naming. You get? This is the same way. The independent, when we say, okay, we see many African countries that celebrate independences, but are they really independent? For example, we have countries from West Africa. These countries up to today, they are paying France, right, as their master. Are they independent? But they will say, okay, today is the Independence Day of Guinea-Conakry. Is Guinea-Conakry an independent country? Or Togo? Name. There are 14 of them, even Cameroon. For example, the biggest port in Cameroon is owned by a French person. Right? So, back to Uganda. EC is not meeting the end of its bargain. When Honorable Kyagulanyi getting tear gassed, getting beaten, refused to go to districts where he has to go, 30 plus districts, what is their response? We ask, and we need answers. Those of you who are watching us, and if even EC is watching, they should also give us answers. Because we are citizens of this country, we need answers. Another thing we can ask ourselves, why is EC calling Kyagulanyi today, after almost a month of campaigning? He's slept outside. He's refused to sleep in hotels twice. Right? What was their response? The other day they shot people just around him. The grenade was thrown just around his car. What was their response? Why then they never called him? He had to come. They pretended like they don't see what is happening. He provided evidence to them. What is their response? So they are not meeting. I feel like this was not an invitation. This was not a summon. It was an order. I don't know from where. You know, we have a guy in Uganda called Above. And I think all African countries have that guy. I think it is from that guy above. That's how I think.
So we had previously Bobi Wine went to the Electoral Commission and he had a meeting with them. What do you think they agreed on? What do you think was the subject of the meeting?
Like I said, just in my immediate submission, I'll repeat myself. Maybe you did not get me clear, but let me paraphrase myself. He went there to show them what he is going through, representing pictures, videos and everything, enough evidence. They pretend like they are not living in the country, right? I don't have DSTV, that's what the chairman said. He doesn't have social media, so where is he going to watch the news from? And when I read one of the things they agreed on, EC told NUP that they are going to meet, to make them meet with the security leaders, the people who are heading us, different security organs, right? Up to today that has never happened, but before we know, they have called them for another reason. Now EC is the one that calling them. So already EC has breached the agreement they had previously. That is my view, because this meeting was not supposed to happen before the agreed point, right? I feel like the name independent is a misnomer for Electoral Commission, given the way it is appointed and all those legalities, the erratic. So it's kind of, its existence is because of that guy I talk about, Mr. Bob. So there, in my view, I don't see anything people power or NUP is going to get. They will continue to face the injustices they have been facing under the watch of Electoral Commission.
Don't you think Bobi Wine is exaggerating? I mean, today he was going to the Electoral Commission and the guy put on a bulletproof jacket still. You know, the Electoral Commission should be supposed to be a safe place. So,
you know, in my life, I've taught people this lesson and I've learned it. Do you watch boxing?
No, I don't.
So I love that game. But when you're going to a boxing match, the rule number one they give you is protect yourself at all times. There is a referee, right, that is watching over you, but it does not prevent the opponent to hit you from the back just because there is a referee. You understand? I watch football. Yes, someone will step on you, your bone will break. The referee, what he can do is just to give that person a red card, miss 2-3 matches, but you will be injured. I getting my analogy, if I may use another example. So this same Electoral Commission, previously we've seen it watching over pictures of Honorable Chagulanyi, the previous Honorable Chagulanyi, the Bobi Wine, putting on like he's smoking. They watched them and these pictures were guarded. Why were they guarded at Electoral Commission? So what Honorable Chagulanyi is doing is not actually exaggerating, is just trying to keep himself safe at all times, because he knows that any minute can die. For example, if he shot at Electoral Commission, won't he die? He would die. Hey guys, if you've managed to come to this end, this far in this video, I mean, make sure you subscribe. I think this is a subscription button, and then also we have a share button somewhere down. Plus, thank you so much, and please help our brother to subscribe to this channel. Okay, thank you so much.